Another short clip. Good afternoon. I'm gonna get right into it. I just kind of got the idea right now. So what I want to talk about is that we all pretty much live in different kinds of worlds. Let me explain. When you hear this out, you understand. Some of us are literally competing over money. Okay, I wouldn't even say that's the most common one. That's one of the worlds. Literally, we compete over money. Who has more money? Well, I did an MBA or something, right? I did an MBA. I'm making 100 grand a year just to start off or whatever. And I'm doing this salary job or whatever it is. And among their group, they got people that they compete with in that manner. There are people who are competing in the millions and hundreds of millions and billions. And they will compete like, well, my company is global, it's international. I got this many offices. We do this much money in sales, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, well, our company, well, there's a competition level, everywhere. But like I told you, to be in the top 10 or even the top 1%, you don't need, like, a bank account is not mandatory to make that limit. Now, let me go on. So, there's other competitions to see who's more talented, right? Or who's more hardworking. We call it sports, for example, right? People live that life. Like, people will, from the time their childhood, they're competing in sports, and they get older, they're getting paid for sports. So sports is a big thing. All right. What else? People compete over popularity. People compete over power. People compete just to see who's stronger. And I want you to understand, when I talk about strong, I'm not talking about how much weight you can curl on a weight bar. I'm talking about I'm talking about strong in every way. How mentally strong are you? How, there's so much that goes into it. But that was my point, was that some of us live in a world to see who's better looking, who has the better group of friends, or who has a better social circle, who has who's more dominant, who's smarter, who's stronger, who's better. And it goes on and on. But we have different kind of worlds that we live in. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, a shark doesn't jump into water to eat a snake. It doesn't work like that. We all have different kind of lives that we compete with. Sharks may even compete over food. You know what I mean? It's a big thing, really. But we have our own worlds that we live in. It doesn't make sense if I had 6 different enemies or 6 different people to compete with, and we were really competing hard over, let's say over licensing, right? And we were competing hard over that. It doesn't make sense for me to say, I see this pretty boy walking around, and to be honest, it's not that, like, it's kind of challenging right now. Like, should I really jump into that? It doesn't make sense for me to jump into that world, or let's say to jump into the world of, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. On the other hand, as a recipient, if a snake came into a shark's way, shark would fuck it up. Just to be honest. Now, when someone from another world is coming into your world, typically that is supposed to be like something that something that's discouraged. But if it were to happen, typically the stronger animal wins regardless, so it doesn't really matter. On top of that, he gets a bunch of medals on his uniform. So that's not really a big deal. My nose is itching again. I don't know why. Anyways, I wanted to point that out, but there was another thing. You see, when you get put on by people, which means that they're kind of putting faith in you, maybe they're talking about you in public or within their own groups, and they're saying, for example, this guy is so amazing, blah, 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 whatever the case is. And you can be amazing in a million different ways. You can be a big time money maker, you can be smart, you can be really strong, you can have drive, you can be very successful in a million different ways. It just goes on and on. But if you get seen and kind of chosen to represent something or to have some kind of weight on you. And I'm not like I'm just, by weight means like doesn't necessarily mean pounds. Weight can be just like, like how kind of your rating in anyway, that's not important. But you get put on for, or you get looked at or put on for having some kind of quality or something. The thing is that if you cannot fulfill that, you will not exist. If you cannot fulfill that, you cannot exist. If you cannot fulfill that, you will be dropped. But here's the thing. As a ghost, right? I talked about that standards and not want to live up to people's standards. But that's all. You gotta become a ghost. It's not about black or white or anything like that, or Chinese. I mean, if you're a ghost, you're a ghost, and you gotta maintain that and keep that going. Now that's one thing, but if you have I got a presence right now. If I get put on by people in something that's genuine, something I can do and something I am, I will definitely put on. If it's something bullshit, like people say, well, oh, he's just so cool. He knows how to make a lot of money. I love to work for him. It's like, listen, man, I don't want to fuck with you. I do not want to fuck with you. Somebody said, well, he's so trendy and cute. I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking with you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put on whatever image you throw on at me. And the fact that I have a presence might perplex you, that why you can't just replace me with somebody else. But I'll tell you something, you can replace me with somebody else where I'm not being put on, but where I'm being put on, you're not going to do that. If you want me out of your race, for example, and your race is a piece of shit and it's supporting you, I don't want to be part of your race. Go fuck yourself. And I guess now I got it. Anyways, so that's the deal. But if I'm being put on for something, if someone's putting me on saying he's just so disciplined or so hardened, and he's just, or he's got a bit of a shark mentality. He follows it through. Whatever the case is that they throw out there. If it's something that's genuine, something that I am, and something that I want to put on, I will put on. Anyways, that's it.